All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're on the air. It's In the Room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network, right here live on VOCNation.com. Brady Hicks, and we have a great show planned for you guys. I think we're going to have a good time. I forgot to run the bumper in the beginning, but you know what? It's always the same couple guys anyway. I got to get some more bumpers uploaded. I have so many of them, and I've just been lazy with it. But we'll let it slide for tonight. Brady Hicks here. With me, as always, the lovely Kathy Fitz. What's going on, Kathy?
Not much, Brady. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm really good. I'm full of energy. Like I said, I think we're gonna have a fun show. I have a funny Terry Funk story I'm gonna tell you in a minute, but because I think you'll get a kick out of it. But before we do that, we have the one and only Maestro of professional wrestling, Papa Stro. It's almost Papa Ween. What's going on, pal?
It's getting close to that time, man. I'm excited to be here. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Big E. He's the new WWE champion. I'm so happy for him. It's been a long time coming.
It's pretty cool. It's definitely cool. Until you think about the fact that he probably got the title so he can, with the New Day, lose to Roman Reigns and the Bloodline and Survivor Series. But, I mean, hey, give him a shot. I say, give him the job, as that stripper once said during our Eddie Kingston interview. Ray Bogus, what's going on, Ray?
Tonight is a night of celebration because Big E Langston has finally won a title.
Yes. Yeah, he hasn't won anything, has he, other than the tag gold? Oh, and the Intercontinental. Other than that, though. Yeah.
He's finally at the top, Brady. And I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. So, Kathy, before the show tonight, Kelly and I were sitting and watching the Dark Side of the Ring preview with Chris Jericho. The second half of the season comes out next week, and it actually comes out on Thursday. Okay. My bad. So it's Chris Jericho and these two guys who produced the show, and they're showing footage from like the upcoming episodes. And one of them, they have Terry Funk. I know you're going to get a kick out of this, Kathy. So they're talking about FMW and like the violent, like the exploding ring matches and the barbed wire on fire and all this stuff, yeah. Right? And so Terry Funk's sitting there, and he goes, "They tell me that the ring is going to explode." And he's like, and he goes, "And I know these fans aren't paying 50 cents a seat, but put me in the front row." And then he goes, "Bullshit." It was just so funny the way you said it. I feel like every time I tell the story, it goes down in quality, but
yeah, that's sorry.
Yeah, good old Terry. So Big E wins the title, and I did kind of call it, because people were saying he was going to cash in on Roman Reigns. It always made more sense to me for him to go after Lashley, because why would you want to derail what they're doing with Roman Reigns for that? It's not like they had a huge investment in Bobby Lashley anyway. Just my thought.
No, I mean, you have a point there. I mean, they didn't. Everything they got out of Bobby Lashley was essentially, they were playing with house money. And this was a good time, and they actually did something right. God help me, they're going to screw it up. I don't know how. They will, though.
They're going to screw it up.
Oh, they'll screw it up.
I might not. Maybe not.
They will.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah, they will. But in the meantime, what a great day. What a great and fabulous day.
And there's a lot of reasons to be excited about tonight. For example, WWE announced today that they're going to have their annual draft. It's October 1st. It's coming up fast. So October 1st is SmackDown. October 4th is Raw. And I was thinking about it. Does AEW have a bigger roster than WWE yet? I feel like it's close.
I think it depends how you count it.
Okay. Well, I'm counting it in terms of wrestlers.
God, Stro, why is he like this?
Well, how else is there to look at it? I said, do
Well,
they
like,
have a
are you
bigger
counting-
roster?
So are you counting are you counting TNA guys because the TNA is effectively okay? Then I think it's still smaller.
Okay. But I was sitting there wondering today, would AEW benefit from a brand split? Because I think there's a strong argument to be made that it's made WWE better in a lot of ways. At least it should in theory. You know, when the writing is working well, it makes it a lot easier for the writers, and they're able to do more compelling storylines for more wrestlers. If you think about it, without the brand split, you've got people complain now about guys not getting enough exposure. With half the roster, it would be even worse.
Well, there's the one constant with both companies. Khan!
For sure.
They both have Khan in both companies, so.
Khan then, running it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
where I'm at.
I think there's something to that idea, Brady. I mean, do you really see them being able to pull it off though? Because for years, wasn't our very complaint on this show that the brand split is stupid. There's no distinction between them. There's no point in doing this. I remember writing about that before I was even on this show with you. That they're gonna have a brand versus brand pay-per-view, and we all totally believe that there's actually competition between these two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that they've always done it effectively, but I think the idea, if you execute it correctly, could be amazing. Like, for example, it always baffled me why you would have I think the pay-per-view you're referencing is Bragging Rights, I believe it's called. More recently, Survivor Series, where they go head-to-head like that. But to me, the brand versus brand should be taking place at WrestleMania. You should have champion versus champion every WrestleMania. That's the way to do it. It would be like your World Series or your Super Bowl. That's what they should have done from when they bought WCW. I'm not saying AEW would do that either, but I just think it bears mentioning, because I think if you do the model correctly, then it could be a whole lot better than it is.
If it was the AWA's case, it'd be their final days would be Jake the Milkman Milliman and Eric Bischoff for brand supremacy. Yeah. Colonel De Beers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk about that tonight, though. Can AEW, would that be something maybe they should consider kind of looking at? Is that something that maybe could help them as their roster gets bigger? They certainly are going to start to run into the same problem that WWE is having, which is that it's very difficult to give all of these wrestlers time when you've only got, 180 minutes a week to fill.
Well, okay, I'm not going to dismiss that just out of hand because, just on its face, that's a very valid point. I guess I have more faith in AEW because when I watch Dynamite, I see lots of storylines that are still given attention. Yes, the roster itself is too big for the amount of guys they get on the show per week. But and this is a non-political show, so I can't do the analogy I would normally use here.
The Dark Order itself is a brand, as big as they are.
Yeah.
You're actually. I hate to say this, but you're right.
Would you put them on AEW Dark? Sorry.
So, I mean, I guess my thing is like I see lots of storylines that are given attention, and I see AEW able to build lots of stories. Yes, the roster is too big, and yes, I think a brand split could help. I agree with you. Like if they did it correctly, I guess what I'm saying is I don't see any reason to believe that AEW will do this any better than WWE did.
I think WWE's main issue with the brand split has always been that they're afraid to fully embrace it. You know, it's always been, oh, well, we need to come up with these like stupid rules where people can appear on the other show, or like we need to change it up every so often because people will get bored with wrestlers of where they are, or I don't know, like it just feels like that their main concern throughout the whole thing is diluting their product. Whereas, like, I think if they looked at it like they could improve their product by doing this. And part of the problem, I think, is that their focus is about, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Like, if I were going to do a podcast, and let's say I want to, no, that analogy doesn't work. I'm just trying to think of how to. Okay, so WWE decides what they want the outcome to be. And they essentially announce what they want the outcome to be. And then they proceed to reverse engineer it to show you every step to get to where they want it to be. Instead of just having it like it is. Like, why do they need to have Raw and SmackDown people drafted onto the different shows? Why can't it be, this is SmackDown, this is Raw, and that's it? Why can't you just do that? And then randomly you just have people switch spots. You don't need to, like, explain I think they're way too... They're way too hyper-focused on the things that I think don't matter.
So, two things.
I don't know if that made any sense.
No, it does, but I'm going to help clarify it a little bit. So, two things. I think you're right, at least in the regard of...
Yay!
Yeah, play the sound effect. Give me my sound effect, Brady. Or not. Yeah. Okay. So,
wow, they're harsh.
I know, they're a tough crowd tonight. So, there we go. There you go. So, I agree with you in the sense that it feels like a bunch of kids were told, hey, go outside and play, and like all the rest of them and like everybody else would just be fine. Yeah, that's right. And everybody else would be fine, like just like using a stick as a sword and saying like, I'm a knight, I'm a wizard. They're just gonna like run around. And then there's one kid.
McIntyre.
Yes. And then there's and I'm Drew McIntyre, and then there's one kid off to the side who like refuses to participate in the game until they develop this elaborate backstory for the entire kingdom, and that kid is WWE. Like I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like you
like just do it.
Yeah, like just go. Here's the thing.
Like Nike, just do it.
Oh God, they're such a low quality brand. This is a New Balance friendly program, Stro. So
Wish. I'm a Reebok guy myself.
I damaged my
Love
feet a long
Reebok.
time ago playing tennis in Converse. I
I'm
wear the
Skechers.
I wear the cushy New Balance now. So to take Brady, sort of what you're saying, a step further, if they wanted to do a brand split, then what they need to do is go back in time and look at, and then let's go back that far, 50, 60 years, and look at the pre-merger NFL, where you had the NFL and the AFL definitely competing against each other.
Right.
And then meeting to determine supremacy at some point. If they would treat it like that, and not necessarily, they don't have to get into all of the minutia details, but if they would they have to treat them as two separate competing entities. And I think there's a mental block, and this is just me, spitballing, because I know how people are. I see what WWE does. I am aware that they're a company. I think the mental block that they have is that on some level, if you're going to have that brand split work, there has to be a tangible disdain for the other side. Raw has to dislike SmackDown. SmackDown has to dislike Raw. And
that's why it was good to have Batista, because he would just run down the other side. That's
right. So I think the mental block that they have is that, they'll always be too worried about damaging a brand, when in reality, going back and forth probably strengthens both in the long run. And my thing is, I just don't see AEW. I just don't see AEW viewing that differently.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I'll tell you what. There's one huge difference, and I think it's part of what kills WWE being able to effectively do it. That I think that would be all the difference in the world. WWE's got to cater to two totally different rival networks with its shows. Fox gets jealous every time USA does something, and vice versa. And in the end, I see this clash where WWE is going to end up having to choose between the two at some point when contracts come up. And I got a real feeling that Fox is going to win out. I'm not saying that that's for the best. I'm just saying that is probably what it's going to be, just because Fox is offering more money and because it's higher exposure. But there's high risk with that high exposure, just being a network and everything, that things could change very quickly, like very, very quickly. But with that said, AEW, it's all in a family. It's TNT. Even if they move to TBS, unless a situation develops like what happened with WCW 20 years ago, and I don't really foresee that happening, there's not, they can create disdain that's artificial and don't have to worry about the other side saying, hey, you're running us down. I don't know that WWE can do that with Fox and with USA.
That's
NBC
definitely a
Universal.
roadblock.
Yeah.
No argument there. That's definitely a roadblock.
It is what it is. And I'm curious what everybody else thinks, too. 914-338-1885. So that's definitely something that I think we need to explore tonight. I also wanted to mention just a couple more kind of quick hits. First of all, Daffney, well, not quick hits, because that's later on in the show, even though I don't have any right now. But Daffney, we didn't mention it at all last week, and I feel terrible about it. So Daffney passed away before last week's show, and we didn't talk about it. Suicide, horrible thing, for sure. Lance Storm told this really funny story, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but the thing with Daffney is, like, she was very successful everywhere she went, but she never went to WWE. And Lance Storm was talking about it, and he said something that kind of, like, really resonated with me, and I think it's like WWE's whole attitude. They didn't sign Daffney, Stro, because they didn't like the screaming. They thought the screaming that's a reason. And Lance Storm, you know, when he was talking with them about this and he recommended her, he said, well, you know, she doesn't have to scream. She can do other things besides scream. No. So that's why Daffney never went to WWE, apparently, at least according to Lance Storm, because she screamed in WCW.
Boy, they missed the boat on her.
They did, I'll say. Imagine that Divas division with her in there in the early 2000s.
That would have been fire.
Been amazing.
Yeah. Storm also said Jericho recommended her too, and they still wouldn't take her.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, and I hate to be like this, but how much differently would things have turned out for her? Maybe.
Right.
I mean, not that I'm blaming WWE for her death, but you know, if she had something for all those years, maybe she wouldn't have been as down as she was. She certainly was talented enough to be there, I think. Just imagine the feud she would have had with Trish and with Lita and with Mickie James and Gail Kim and Jazz and just Victoria, all these different women. It would have been amazing.
Gosh.
And she was young enough that she could have been a bridge to the next level, to the next generation.
Right. Can you imagine her working with Paige? That'd been tremendous.
Yeah. I would have loved it.
She
was an awesome young lady.
Absolutely.
It is.
I didn't know her.
A sad loss.
Yeah. I mean, I met her at a WrestleMania convention probably 10 years ago, and she was very nice. I don't have a bad thing to say about her, but you know, I can't pretend to be her best friend or anything. I just think it's a shame. I was a fan, and I thought, you know, they definitely could have used her. So, yeah, it's sad though.
Yeah.
914-338. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm saying mental illness is very real, folks. Very real.
It is.
And she suffered through the injuries all by herself. Her divorce from the one guy that played in the band Fozzy.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
She had a lot of demons. I mean,
who doesn't though?
Bipolar,
you know? Yeah.
Exactly. But bipolar, everything, and I just really think that she didn't realize how many people cared about her, loved her, as a friend, as a fan.
Yeah.
And it's sad that a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people.
It's one of those things where I'm sure she didn't realize until it was too late, you know? And I'm sure the pandemic didn't help either, because, you know, when you're kind of retired and you're done as a wrestler, like, that's one of the few things that you really have to look forward to, is like doing those conventions and getting out and like seeing all the old folks that you used to see all the time and networking and meeting with the fans and hearing what a difference you made. And it's like, with the pandemic, there was none of that. There was just nothing.
Yeah.
I always said, and there are people who hate it when I say this, but I have felt this, and I stand by it. I think that that the mental effects of the pandemic were way, way, way worse than any physical ones that some people had.
Oh, no, Brady, you should absolutely not back down from that for a second.
But there are people who get mad when I say that.
Well, tell them to go fuck themselves.
Well, I'm nicer than that, but yeah.
Tell them that they are brain-addled. And no, that's Brady. We've done this show together 11, 12 years. That might be the single worst thought I have ever heard shared on the show.
Okay.
It's not bad to lock everyone in their homes for a year. No, I think it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Australia is the world's largest prison. I feel terrible for them.
No, I don't. They voted for
it. Well, we're not far off, so be careful. 914-338-1885. Not that I wanted to get political here, of course, but
no.
I'm definitely curious what you guys think. I'm definitely curious. Let's go to the phones real quick. We'll bring on Steve, who's down in Virginia. What's going on, Steve? How you doing, brother?
Hey, thanks for mentioning Daffney.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot last week.
I only interacted with her briefly online, and very cool. But I could tell, you know, in those moments she was having troubles. It was very nice, like mentioned before. I've heard a lot about her having a match with Vicky Lyons, who only did one match, and trained years for it, and Daffney like put her over. It was cool to hear how nice she was. I'd like to hear these stories told.
As a side, and I was just thinking this, I know she never technically wrestled for WWE, but considering that they bought WCW and essentially took away her livelihood, and considering that they've honored other people who haven't actually wrestled for them, I thought that they probably should have had a graphic for Daffney at the beginning of Raw. Even if they acknowledged her as a former WCW star, I think they should have done something. Just a side. It would have been nice.
Yeah, I did not catch Raw, but it was interesting seeing the love that Big E got, and Mustafa Ali tweeted about Brody Lee. Because Brody and Big E were close friends, I think.
Well, I saw the one guy from the Dark Order was tweeting back and forth with Big E afterward because I guess because I don't remember which one it was. I just remember that he was, and you know, they were just talking about, you know, Brody, basically, because apparently Big E and Brody were like best friends in WWE.
Yeah, it's amazing how much he influenced a lot of people and kind of changed the direction of AEW recently with all these signings.
Do you think almost, and I don't want to like come off as like kind of cold here, but do you feel like Brody Lee has gotten bigger since he died than he was when he was actually with us?
Yeah, that's somewhat accurate.
I think it is.
Like the legacy is increased.
Not unlike Eddie, honestly. Like, I mean, Eddie was huge, and I loved him, and there were a lot of fans that really, really cared for him. But I think it took the recognition that he got to a whole other level, losing him.
Bray Wyatt called him as Terry Gordy, and that's like an accurate name to compare him to, I think. Like, big guy, underrated.
Yeah, for sure. And he was great. I mean, he was amazing. So.
Yeah, I was definitely a fan. Wish I had reached out online more, but definitely left a huge impression on a lot of people. And glad you touched on Daffney a little bit. And then today, horrible news about Norm Macdonald. I don't want to be a drag on your show, but that was another big loss recently in entertainment. It was Norm from SML.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked the guy, and he was pretty young. Apparently, he was dealing with some stuff.
Yeah, he was. He was in the 60s, but I didn't know he was battling cancer for all the time privately.
Oh, I didn't either. I just heard he was dealing with some stuff.
Yeah, David Bowie had a similar situation where he kept it private. It's interesting when you find this out after. Like, you don't know what problems they're going through.
Steve, we were talking earlier, not to cut you off, but the brand split. Do you think that's something that AEW could benefit from?
I think it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because, if you have the brand split, then there's a possibility you can go the WWE route and have too many titles. If they have it where it's one women's championship and one tag team titles, I think that'd be better than the current one in WWE. But I don't really mind 2 top titles, but it does go against tradition.
I agree.
Draft, but
I agree. I said
this depends on the title pictures.
I mean, I agree. I said all along, that you don't really have a world champion when you've got 2 world champions. In my head, the best version of the WWE brand split was the one where the champion went back and forth between the 2 shows, and it only happened for a couple months before they kind of changed that. But I think they should have done it with all the titles: the world, the tag, the IC. The women's. The champion should go back and forth between the 2. And if you want to do separate pay-per-views for the brands, just so that you know who the clear number 1 contender is, that's fine. But it should be like a condensed version of what the NWA was, territory to territory, the champion defending the title. That's how it worked best. But if you're not going to do that, if you're going to do exactly what WWE has done, which is to have 2 champions, Steve, then I think the only way to recognize a world champion is to have the 2 champions go head-to-head every year at WrestleMania, title for title. The winner is the world champion, and they proceed to defend the 1 title on Raw and the 1 title on SmackDown from there. That's the way to do it. A lot of people don't agree with me.
I think that the Intercontinental title should be...
I think Rampage would have to be... I'm sorry.
Hold on,
I think Rampage would have to be the second roster, but go ahead, Ray.
Yeah.
I think that the Intercontinental title should periodically be defended in its home city of Rio de Janeiro. Should be for 100%. Like, we gotta bring that back and call it the Pat Patterson Memorial Tournament.
Don't I recall it being a big deal when the Intercontinental belt was finally defended in Rio?
Yes.
But then Jericho went and threw the flag or whatever and almost got arrested.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. Yeah, Rampage would be the B brand for sure. I'm sure whoever got put there would be a little pissed that they're getting the show with probably half the audience and the Friday night. But I think in the long run, I think it would be better. Just because they've got so many wrestlers under contract. When's the last time I've seen Adam Page? You talk about how WWE misuses talent. They're going to have guys coming up, Steve, that are not going to want to re-sign with AEW because they're not being used.
Adam, I think, is just taking a break right now because of family stuff. But I think he'll get the title at some point. I know I think they just wanted to delay it because of Brian and Adam Cole appearances and Kenny Omega. I think they're just delaying it for another pay-per-view or another Dynamite.
It could be. It just seems weird that he just disappeared. That's such a WWE thing, He's here one week in the main event, the next week you don't hear anything from him. And I'm worried as more and more guys sign there that it's only going to get worse. When's the last time? Well, I mean, I guess AEW just had a pay-per-view not that long ago, so. But beyond that, when is the last time you've seen a lot of these wrestlers? All these indie guys, right, that were part of the instrumental in the founding of the company. I'm talking like the Joey Janela's and the Sonny Kisses and so many of them that they can't even scratch anything but dark anymore. And I think that's a shame. That's my thought.
So many spots they can have on the shows.
Yeah, but a lot of the AEW guys can still work indie shows.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
they can. And they have to, pretty much.
Yeah, Sonny Kisses. Brian Cage is all the time.
Yeah, so is John Moxley, who just won the GCW title.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Brady, touching up on what you just said earlier, I know Melissa Santos was criticizing AEW about Brian Cage, how he's not being pushed more past the Ricky Starks rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one thing I've seen recently. And then I love this Twitter trend, this Suzuki incident, where his music didn't get played. It got cut off before the Kazi needed their air.
Yeah.
Speak and having
that
the
old,
match cut short to 8 minutes, like that
old
funny,
WCW
like,
trick.
all the Twitter jokes about it.
Yeah, that's the old WCW trick. They used to cut their music before they even made the ring.
And then
they no choice for me though.
I will complain about AEW. Hey, the timing was definitely off because they gave Moxley so much time after the match, probably because there was a miscommunication, and then he just like they cut.
Yeah, I wasn't so upset about that.
I'm a fan of Suzuki, so if I was a paying fan of that show, I'd want to see the full entrance of Suzuki and have a longer match.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not an AEW guy. I mean, he's not an AEW guy. You were lucky just to get him. Don't you think?
That's why it's a bigger deal, Brady, because he's not an AEW guy, because he's not going to be there every time.
Okay, so you don't owe him anything then.
That he gets a bigger moment.
Yeah, but you don't owe him anything. I mean, the guy, you're putting him on your TV. He's not doing anything for you.
Oh, $5 off. Any order $30 or more.
What was that, Steve?
They're bringing him back with Lance. I think they're bringing him back like this Dynamite because they want to give him more time. I think because there was a reaction to it.
That'd be funny if the time that they gave him next time was during the commercial break.
That's what it felt like this past week. They did a break during the match.
Well, yeah.
This time they'll give him
as everybody else.
This time they'll give him Undertaker entrance.
Yeah. Play his music through the whole show. Oh, Steve.
Like, I'm not joking about it. Like
I am.
Like, you should have gave him more time. Like, give him that Undertaker time. Like, he's not going to be there every week.
Well, it's okay. He's not going to win either.
That doesn't matter. Like, if I'm a paying fan, I want to see the full experience of Suzuki.
You mean, okay. Okay, I don't know how to respond. It's all good.
I'm gonna die on this hill every time.
I'm afraid you are, and I hate to see you go. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you're a paying fan, then you should be excited that they have him on the show. Shouldn't that be good enough?
Oh,
it's better than not having him.
The match was good. But hey, the match was good. I just wish it didn't have.
You wanted to hear his whole song.
Period afterwards, like, yeah, and it's not just this incident. There's been timing issues before with the barbed wire explosion thing. They had a lot of time there.
Well, yeah.
That's even the All In pay-per-view years ago. There was some timing there at the main event. That's the one weakness I see is timing.
Well, that's because they're trying to run a live TV program and they don't have a whole hell of a lot of experience doing it. That really is the bottom line. Well, WWE's been doing this forever.
I mean, most of the time they're fine at it. I'm just saying that's the only issue I've seen. And Tony Khan, I think, is the one producing it. And he's been praised before about it. So it's just interesting when they do mess up. It's sometimes it's easy to notice.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to be more forgiving of that kind of stuff, just because it's.
No, I mean,
it is what it is. But
I'm glad he was.
The exploding thing was silly.
His appearance at All Out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was unfortunate. But, yeah, his all-out appearance was great. I thought the match was good for what it was,
Love the snowman paper.
That was a crazy visual with the bloody eyebrow. But I'm just glad they're booking them again, is what I'm saying, because it's cool that they're bringing in New Japan stars, and I hope they bring in Tanahashi too, because I'm sure they will with that Matsu.
I just want Japanese pool boy back. If they do that, I'll be happy.
That went over my head.
Japanese pool boy?
He's long gone.
Got to bring him back, though. You could bring him back. Look him up. Or Milano Collection AT. There's another one.
I miss Curry Man.
Yeah.
I love Curry Man.
Yeah.
When Bryan Danielson, when Christopher Daniels had to retire, they should have done that. They should have had him jump right into that again. Wow, Steve. Listen, Steve, we're up against the commercial break.
Go
ahead.
It was great to go to a local show at UEW United Elite Wrestling and see Erica Leah there. And
how's she doing? I love Erica Lee, by the way. She's amazing.
She was a lot of fun. She came out. It was kind of cringe, but she came out to like art sound effects music, and like, so basically I got some interaction with her during the match, and like got some offense on me a little bit in the corner. It was funny. And then
when she came out with the farting, when she came out with the farting music, did she run to the ring? Was she gassed?
I was saying online, she didn't stink up the joint. And it's funny, I had some Gas X shoes on me. Like, I had no idea this was going to happen, so I just pulled it out, and she just starts, like, striking me. It was funny in the corner, and then, like, she just threw it at Jordan, and then eventually lost to Jordan, but it was a fun match, and it was cool to see.
Who was the Jordan? Jordan Oliver?
Jordan Blade.
Jordan Blade. Okay, I got you.
Player
I got you. Okay. Yeah, well, we're up against a commercial break, Steve, so I'm going to let you go, but thank you for the call, brother. Pleasure as always.
Probably made me there.
What? Take care. And you guys, I see we have more callers. We're going to get to you guys on the other side. 914-338-1885. It's in the room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network.
This is Lance.
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just...
All right, I hope you guys don't get mad at me, but I cut off the theme song early. I hope that's okay. I'm only playing. 914-338-1885. It's in the room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network. Sorry, Steve, I'm just playing. VOCNation.com. And so happy to be with all you guys. Brady, Kathy, Stro, Ray, and you as well. 914-338-1885. Before we kind of jump back into the meat of it, Kathy, you got something going on this Saturday. Icons of Wrestling. What's tell us the deets.
Icons of Wrestling in Philadelphia at the arena. Some of the major stars are Buddy Murphy, Jerry Brisco, Deborah McMichael. What else is going to be there? Enzo and Cass. And then at night, there's Battleground Wrestling.
Okay.
And they're going to have Brian Cage versus Buddy Murphy. Or, I'm sorry, Buddy Campbell now, I think it is.
Okay, cool. So real quick, so I'm looking at the Icon schedule, and I'm just going to run it down for you guys. And it is packed. We're talking Kane and Layla and... God, I used to love Layla. Big Money Matt Hardy, Mark Henry, Molly Holly, Rob Van Dam. You know, I went to a strip club with Rob Van Dam and Sabu once. That was a lot of fun. Bully Ray. That's Busted Open Radio. What?
That's scary.
It was fun though. It was really fun. That was the night I was driving Sabu, and we met RVD. We met up with RVD. Tammy Sitch, Buddy, the Gun Club, Aubrey Edwards, Bear Country, Mojo, Deborah, DDP, Kalisto, Crystal Marshall. Wow, I haven't heard that name in forever. Paul Ellering, Damian Kane, and some of the Dark Order people, James Storm. What? No, I don't think so. No, they've been divorced for a while, I think. Or if they were even married, I'm not sure. Chelsea Green, Rock and Roll Express, Ron Simmons, Deanna, Jeff Jarrett, Brutus Beefcake, Tennille, Marty Jannetty, Raven, Scott, and I'm just scanning now. There's so many. Taryn Terrell, Sabu. Hey, maybe I can go to the strip club, and there's a good chance I'll find Sabu and RVD there. Abdullah the Butcher, Bill Alfonso. I'm not allowed to now, Kathy. I live a clean life. Julia Hart, Barry Horowitz, Little Boogeyman. Is there a difference between Little Boogeyman and regular Boogeyman?
Yeah, it's a midget.
Really?
I think he should marry.
Did he get him half off?
I think he should marry a boogie woman, and then they can have the little boogeyman. Now,
do you think when you're creating a little boogeyman, do you think you just like does it work like a normal person, or do you fling the boogie? How does it work?
How am I supposed to know?
I thought Ray would have an idea.
I'm sorry, I was reading about the history of Ace Hardware. What
Maven, the Blue Meanie, Tony Atlas, Mark Jindrak. That's the lineup, and lots more.
Tony Atlas.
Yeah. Yeah. That
was one of the. Look, I know they never really did anything with it, but that was one of the best segments.
Yeah, it was.
That was one of the absolute best segments.
The only way it could have been better is if they worked in his loving to lick women's feet into a storyline. That would have made it amazing.
Oh, my God.
Kat, do you remember? Didn't he ask you?
Oh. Not me.
Who was it? He asked somebody I know. I thought it was you.
Oh, man.
Oh.
He's great. I love Tony. He's amazing.
That laugh. If they had put him on a commentary booth, that would have been money. That would have just been absolute money.
He's amazing. So Saturday, go ahead.
Another thing. Congratulations to Dewdrop on getting married.
Okay. All right. Who'd she marry? Anybody I know?
Rat Boy.
Huh?
I think he's a wrestler out of NXT.
Okay. I'll look that up later. So Icons isn't the only thing going on this Saturday. ECWA's 54th anniversary show, Morganville, New Jersey. Sean Carr returning to challenge Michio Ulala for the heavyweight title, and lots more. Tickets and information available, ECWAWrestling.com. I'll be there doing the commentary. And, Joe, what do you got going on this week, man?
Well, Thursday night, WCW Retro, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VOCNation.com. We'll be having part 2 of a discussion, some of our favorite wrestling promos through the years. So if you have a favorite wrestling promo you'd like to share, please call in. And then this Friday night, on the Horror Sci-Fi show, the Stro Zone, at midnight Eastern Standard Time, the big feature will be It's Alive from back in the day. And
Very
then
nice.
Saturday, I'll be doing commentary for Shockwave Wrestling's Sacrifice event being held at Craven County JC's Fairgrounds in New Bern, North Carolina. And for more information, go to shockwavewrestling.com.
Beautiful. Lovely, brother. Ray, I love the Ray Stevens the promo from last week. Not Ray Stevens. I forget who it was now. Who was it? You sent the promo.
Well, he loved the promo last week at any rate, folks.
I don't remember who it was. I apologize.
Yeah,
it was great.
I think we have a new segment for this show. Like, I think what we do is we give Brady like just a dump truck load full of Benadryl, and then have him watch like all of the WWE programming right in a row. And it could be Brady falls asleep and reviews Raw.
I mean, it's, right now I watch Raw while I work, so it couldn't be,
Yeah, I think.
Could be good.
Because then you could just come out and say, yeah, there was a promo, though. There was a promo in the ring, and then there were some guys fighting. I don't know.
I was thinking it was Ray Stevens. I don't remember who it was, though.
Could be a whole
thing. I
apologize.
I shared it with Stro. He liked it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So, like, if you guys are still doing promos, I think another one that really jumped out at me, and it kind of has become viral and almost a meme in a way, but the Scott Steiner math promos from TNA are something that definitely deserve being talked about.
Yeah.
You're talking about normally you have a 50-50 shot, but when you're in there with me, it's a 75-25 shot. No, it's a triple threat, so at best that's a third. You have a third of a chance, but you actually have less than a third of a chance because you only have a 25% chance anyway. And on top of that, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle already admits that he only has a 40% chance of winning, so therefore your odds go significantly down, and that's just the math. It was something along those lines. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing stuff. Yeah. Good stuff.
Wait, Brady, were you talking about the promo that I sent from last week? That was the Crusher.
The Crusher. See, I was thinking, I just didn't remember who it was.
That was the Crusher.
I was just tired. Yeah. Okay. It was good. He was talking about Bruno.
Yeah, and the donkey, and he looks like Bruno, and the sawdust in there. It looks like Bruno's brains.
Stuffed animal, yep.
With a little pinata or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking it was the Crippler because I was just confused and tired.
Well,
my bad, as the kids would say.
Well, crippling is a major part of wrestling. It's the main part, really.
Sure. Yeah, like Chris Benoit, like if you remember, he was so ultra specific with it. He only liked to cripple Canadians.
That's true. He did something else to Americans. I don't remember what.
That's not funny. 914-338-1885. So tonight we're talking about the brand split and, the possibility. By the way, I do get excited for WWE's brand split every year because for like 2 nights, Stro, it feels like WWE can't mess it up. And then, of course, they will. I hate to talk like that, but even like the order last year was like wonk. They were like taking like mid-carders in the first round and like main eventers later. It made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, the possibilities.
A lot of possibilities. But I think AEW could benefit from it. I do. And we can certainly try and explore that a little bit more tonight if anybody else has steam. Ray, you brought up the other concept, and I really like the idea. So Big E is the champion now. Who's going to challenge him? Who's going to be the next guy to challenge for Big E's title?
Well,
I guess Drew McIntyre is technically eligible now, right? Because he just couldn't challenge Bobby Lashley.
I think he could. I don't want to see him fight Drew McIntyre right away.
Oh, no.
Because I would like to see Big E have a sustained run.
What about a friendly fire match against Kofi, being a former champion?
If you book it right, it can make sense. If you
You
book
could
it
have
right,
like
it can.
Xavier Woods, like Miss Elizabeth out there, you know, both their corners. You make a pretty good Miss Elizabeth, you got to admit. I love me some Austin Creed. That guy doesn't get nearly enough credit for everything that those other two accomplished.
You know who I'd kind of like him to see wrestle first, because I think this would be the perfect guy. I'd like to see him wrestle Sheamus first.
Really?
Or Shelton Benjamin. I want a safe title defense. And they're not they're not putting the belt on Sheamus. They're not putting it on Shelton Benjamin.
I can't imagine getting excited for a Sheamus title match.
Then maybe Shelton Benjamin's the guy.
What about Cedric, if you're going to do that?
I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
I guess my point, and no, like there's no world on this planet where I'm sitting around going, oh boy, tonight's the night of the big Sheamus match.
Right, exactly. That's why I'm like, why would you? Like, I would rather see Nia Jax challenge at Big E. Like, imagine her throwing him around. Who has bigger glutes?
Maybe you're right. Maybe someone like Cedric, maybe Shelton Benjamin, like I brought up, but like a nice, safe title defense first.
Yeah.
And then if he drops it at Survivor Series, whatever. At least he ran with it for 2 months. But something nice and safe first. Save Drew McIntyre. If you have Big E hold the belt until the Royal Rumble, maybe McIntyre fights him there. If you have Big E hold the belt till WrestleMania, maybe he fights it there. But that feels like a bigger match.
Here's my thing. The shows kind of suck by and large. So I don't want just paper challengers for the next 4 months until we get to a big show. Bring on Randy Orton versus Big E. Give me Kofi versus Big E. I want to see this. I'm excited for what the brand split's going to do. I'm actually wondering if they're not going to swap on. You know what? They won't because of the networks. Never mind. I was going to say maybe they'll swap Roman Reigns and Big E, but I don't think they'll do that just because I can't imagine Fox will be okay losing Roman Reigns right now.
No.
Well, you got AJ and Omos too. You got AJ and Omos.
Omos. Hey, AJ would be a great challenger for Omos needs to go back to being the bodyguard. Honestly, I don't like them as a tag team. It's like it's like the Colossal Connection, except Andre is horrible, and Haku is like the best wrestler in the world. And I do still think he's the best wrestler in the world, AJ. I don't buy the whole Kenny. I mean, Kenny Omega's great, but I don't think he even touches what AJ Styles can do. Not even. And I'm sorry to anybody who's offended by that, but that is completely how I feel. And for the record, I do think Roman Reigns should have been number 1 in the 500, but that's besides the point. They didn't even care what I thought, so. Yeah. I like
Brady.
AJ Styles in there. What?
Go ahead, vent more. This is
no.
juicy.
I mean, I'm not venting. I'm just telling the truth. Just telling the truth. I think Roman Reigns should have been number 1. But anyway, I think that AJ Styles maybe would be a great challenger for Big E. What about Edge? Bring Edge back on Raw. Put Edge against Big E. There's so many different names.
So,
This is where Adam Cole would have been great, baby.
So
put Adam Cole in there against Big E.
I guess my thing with Big E versus AJ right now, I don't want to see that right away because right away, AJ, that feels like an AJ win.
Sheamus. Yeah.
Like no, that first. I'm always saying the first month. Like I want a nice, easy title defense the first month. You want to have Big E just run through, a bunch of names that actually matter. Have it start in November. Have it start in November.
I want Big E. If you're going to get behind Big E as a real champion, I want him to have real challengers.
So do I.
I want Drew McIntyre. I want Randy Orton. Those are all the guys that he should be in the ring with because it's the only way it's going to elevate him.
So
when Rey Mysterio was the champion, it sucked because they never put him in there with other main eventers unless he was losing.
I want Big E to have meaningful title matches too. I just want like 1 month where I can relax and say, he will remain the champion. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want. And look, I mean this in the absolute most insulting way. Absolutely nobody believes that Sheamus can or should win anything. So that's a nice, easy title defense. No, I want Big E to fight AJ at WrestleMania.
We're going to bring on Derek McDonald as well. Derek, tonight we're talking about the possible challenges for Big E, and Ray is just salivating at the idea of getting Sheamus versus Big E at the next big pay-per-view.
That's not what I said.
Well,
it's kind of what he's saying.
I was listening. I heard you say Kofi too, which just continues your dream of breaking up New Day. I don't know why.
I don't want to break them up. I just want to have that match.
I think the thing about Big E is it brings fresh matches. I think you can draft Edge from SmackDown, and that can be a fresh match. I guess you could do him and Rollins, but I feel like they want to keep Rollins on Friday nights. But I heard AJ. I guess Drew McIntyre I think he's going to get drafted to SmackDown. So I guess you could do Drew before he gets drafted to SmackDown. There's a lot of guys. It's just a matter of they have to build people up now. We had this conversation when Lashley became champion. It's like, all right, well, who is going to build up to be challengers for Lashley? And he fought Drew McIntyre for like, what, 3 months? So
yeah.
They definitely have to build up challengers for Big E. And you brought up Adam Cole, Brady, and he'd be perfect. He's the perfect guy to put into that situation. And
he would have been.
I think I put this in the chat. It sucks that I know he's with his buddies now and he's in AEW, but he's on the same level as Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows now. He's one of Kenny Omega's and the Bucks' buddies. And I felt like he had a higher ceiling in WWE, but they wanted to turn him into a manager. So I guess that's why he left.
I'm holding judgment on that. I mean, that's where I think he's going to end up. But hey, maybe they have him go 60 minutes against Bryan Danielson and win. Maybe they have something big planned. I don't know. Maybe he's the guy that beat CM Punk for the first time. I have a feeling that he probably wouldn't have signed just to run around with those guys in a group. I feel like he's got to have more of a plan. But we got the answer about what gang he was going to be in, at least.
That's true. We got the gang answer.
When I saw him stand with him, I was like, Brady was right. Brady hit the nail on the head. He really did that.
Yeah. And Daniel Bryanson he's going to be in the. Daniel Bryanson is going to be with the Dinosaurs.
That's good.
Yeah. And the thing that's
CM Punk will be with Sting.
For Cole
Sorry.
The thing that's up with Cole is as soon as he debuted and you start to get excited for him, he was overshadowed by Danielson coming up.
Yeah.
It's like, well, here's the bigger star. And it's like, why'd you do that? He's with his buddies, so I think he's happy. I do think I do think once Triple H gets, Triple H takes over WWE, whenever that is, I think Cole will be back.
Do you still think it's happening?
This guy.
Look at the optimism on Derek.
You know what? Who else is he going to leave in charge? It has to be somebody who knows the business. Even if it's Stephanie, it's still kind of him if it's Stephanie, right?
What if it's Nick Khan and he books it where he's a wrestler like Vince Russo used to do?
I would hope Nick Khan, and this is probably wishful thinking, I would hope he'd be like, Vince, I know nothing about the business. Please don't put me in there. I think they just hired Khan to sell the company personally. But
I don't know. Maybe I'm overestimating the loyalty that WWE's people have to the company. I find it hard to believe that Vince would just sell his baby.
But I just saw Kevin Dunn sold like $1 million worth of stock last week. But they've been doing that for years now, too. So
yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
That's what it is. They keep raising the price and then selling it off to make profits. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Which is, so. I mean, it's smart. It's smart business-wise. I don't know how. Whatever, it's fine. I just to go on the record here, just so we're clear, I want Big E to fight Sheamus and squash him in about 10 seconds. It's bothering the shit out of me. Brady, you're just sitting here taking a valuable time that Derek and I could be using to talk about this momentous event where we finally get the Big E title run that we've been salivating over for years. Just sitting here fuming because you put these ridiculous words in my mouth, and you sit there on my computer screen, slightly to the right, all bald and weird, and laughing. Yeah, there you go. Just shake. Just your little baked bean teeth. You listen to me.
Baked bean teeth?
Yes, your little baked bean teeth. You listen to me. I want Big E to fight Sheamus and just you stick that crow someplace else. And I want Big E to beat Sheamus in the fastest, most humiliating way possible. And then
you just want to run Sheamus out of the territory.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I didn't realize you had ulterior motives.
No, I just want because I want Big E to get like just a power squash match. I bring this up every now and again. I want Big E to beat Sheamus the way Ring of Honor used to have Skull Crusher Rashi Brown beat random jobbers in the ring.
Wow.
Well, using your logic.
I haven't heard that name in forever.
Yeah, seriously. Using your logic, what about throwing Omos at him and having him be the only one that can go through Omos?
Why do you want them to beat? Hold on. That's another thing.
Because Omos isn't really good enough to be somebody that you build around. He's another great Khali.
But the people, they seem to love him. Whenever he's in the ring, he gets a response.
And I'm saying, if Big E is the only one that can beat him, then that's a feather in his cap.
Yeah.
And it's not taking anything away from Omos.
Once he gets beat, it is.
Yeah, I mean, number one, Brady. Like, part of this is I want the Big E celebration to continue. Like, this is
okay.
You understand? This is going to be a multi-show celebration of Big E Langston. Number two, I really hate Sheamus, and so what a great guy.
That's what this really is.
To just get his head kicked in by Big E. And after that, what I would like is for Langston to eventually end up building to a match versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
And that's good. That's good. I don't think you're getting that, but that's
good.
No,
I'm not. I'm 100% not getting that.
Well, with the draft coming up, here I have a couple thoughts with SmackDown, and I'm curious what you guys think. For challengers for Big E, if you're going to move somebody over. And I think, obviously, they're going to have to move some kind of guys over. One name that jumped out at me, and I'm curious what you guys think. Disregard the rumors about what they're going to do at WrestleMania because nothing is set in stone. We saw Jey Uso was capable of main eventing in and of himself last year when Jimmy was on the shelf. Could Jey Uso move over and have an Uso on each show? And have Jey Uso be the one to challenge me?
Like two Usos.
You want to break up the best
Two
thing they
Usos.
have going in the company?
Well, I think they could get back together at some point.
No, that
I just think that.
happen.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, that Jey Uso. I think it is almost counterproductive to have him there right now because he established that, he clearly was good enough to be on his own. He didn't suck on his own when he was feuding with Roman. It never felt like he shouldn't be in there.
Main event Uso.
Just for a couple months.
I think they like him being next to Roman. I mean, he's more than capable in the ring. Like you said, he showed he's more than capable in the ring. I just think they want to keep all those guys close together, I guess, for the time being.
Okay, here's another one. And the rumor is that he's leaving in January. What if you move Kevin Owens for the last 4 or 5 months in WWE? You have him kind of go in and feud with Big E.
I like that too.
I like Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens.
He needs to be a bad guy again.
I say this every time, AEW brings somebody in, but when is enough? I know I keep repeating myself, but he's their buddy, so yeah. But I think him and Big E would be great.
It'd be like if we had a rival podcast that had John Garabedian and Ratboy and Dustin and Tora and Mike and Malcolm and all these callers, It's like enough is enough.
Yeah, everybody just does it.
Enough is enough. At least we still have Justin. I'll get to you in 1 second, Justin.
That's good.
What about Otis? I mean, they've invested some significant time in Otis.
I like what they've done with him. I like he's like a miniature Vader kind of.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of King Kong Bundy Light. That's who he reminds me of. He's about 1.5 foot shorter, but he looks exactly the same.
That's such a good comparison.
He could be like King Kong Jr., King Kong Bundy Jr.
King Kong Bundy Jr.
Can we bill him?
Prince Kong Jr.
Can we call him? Can like what WCW did with Big Show? Can we bill him as the son of King Kong Bundy?
I don't see why not. The giant is the son of Andre.
Andre shirt, brother.
Yeah, that's that's what I was thinking. There's always a chance they could move Seth Rollins because I do kind of think he's wasted. I mean, maybe. Yeah, I feel like Seth Rollins on SmackDown when they have such a good bad guy champion is kind of silly. But the problem is there's only 2 shows. You still need somewhere for Bobby Lashley and for you need somewhere for Bobby Lashley, I guess.
Oh, I got a guy. What about if they turn Keith Lee heel and let him fight him?
I'd be all right with that.
He can move. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they'd have a great match.
Yeah.
Why not do that?
I thought that. I did think that. I'd be all right with that.
So bad. It sucks that they view Jeff Hardy so bad because a guy like him, that should be the position you put him in.
Yeah.
Former world champion, people know him, but they've made him. He's just a guy now. So.
And speaking of just a guy, this is why what they're doing sucks, and why when we complain about it, it's there's a reason for it, because Karrion Kross should be a guy after having been on the main roster now for 6 or 7 weeks. It could step in and have a program with new champion Big E and be a credible threat. Mm-hmm. And he's not. You know, right now he's just dodging the squirt gun, as they say.
You watch SmackDown and you watch Raw, and it's like it's two different companies. It's like they're owned by the same guy. It's amazing.
Well, that's the networks, you know. I can't believe that USA is okay with SmackDown being so much better.
I don't think they are.
They have to be pissed off.
I think, and I said this earlier, Derek, I feel like at some point it's going to come down to them or us. And WWE is going to go with Fox because that's the bigger deal and the more high profile. I'm not sure it's the right move for them because Fox on a whim could change leadership and decide they don't want wrestling on Friday nights anymore on the network, and they'll be screwed.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true, but we've had enough.
You know, that is a valid point. That is a valid point. Part of me disagrees with the idea that Fox isn't the better move, though. I mean, if you're going to talk about what causes some of WWE's weaknesses, it's that they're so available on so many things that aren't ratings driven, that aren't buys driven. Yeah, Raw's product sucks. And frankly, why the hell should Vince care? If he's on Fox, that might actually, if he's on Fox, look, yes, there would come perils with being on Friday nights and being married only to Fox. But number one, TV executives like easy decisions because they're humans. Well, I mean, lizard humans, but they're humans nonetheless.
I was going to say exohumans.
That's kind of what they are, yeah. I mean, they're humans, but not quite. If you describe vaguely what humans should be to an alien race, you would come up with TV executives.
If you were to have a blind 5-year-old describe what a human is, that would be an executive.
Yeah. The other thing, Brady, is that you really don't have to get a lot of people to watch to be successful on a Friday night show. Friday night is usually a death sentence for TV shows.
I mean, I agree with that.
I saw they put out.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw they put out a press release where SmackDown last week did 2.3 million, and that 18 to 49 demographic, whatever it is that they love, it was the highest rated show in that demographic, and Fox is all ecstatic. So for all intents and purposes, they're doing great numbers on Fridays for what Fox is looking for. But then you turn to Raw, and they're doing 1 million less. Now it's still I think it's still the highest rated show on USA. But I guess Fox considers SmackDown a success, but it's also the show that has Roman and The Brock and Becky and Edge and stuff. So it should be the highest rated show on television because
exactly.
All the stars on.
Exactly. Raw has been existing with basically 3 guys for more than a year now. With Orton, with Lashley, and McIntyre. That's been almost and Charlotte. That's been their entire show.
You know what might end up happening if they went to an all Fox thing? There would end up being a definitive A and B show. And that might end up being for the best.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because that concentrates your stars in one place. You can't have win trade-offs because you have too many guys that you're invested in on one show.
Mm-hmm.
And it forces you to develop basically, I don't want to call them the B guys because that sounds insulting, but it forces you to develop those B guys so that you can always have fresh faces and legitimate challengers to your title defenders.
I could get on board with that. I think. You know, I think it would be better for the long-term kind of strategery, as George Bush would say. I think that I think and it would also serve to like condense the champions, you know, because you could have the mid-card title on the B show, but basically you're trying to work your way up to the A show. Honestly, that's what NXT should be too. And I haven't seen anything from tonight, but
I did.
Was it worth it? It looks to me like from those commercials, it looks like something that's catered to a 5-year-old now.
You know what? It's very bright, but that's because the show they had was very dark and gloomy, and I guess punk rock or whatever.
No more gold at all.
What they did was and they took the established guys like Ciampa, Pete Dunne, and Gargano, and they mixed them in with some of the new people. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't watched it, but I'll say this: they really, 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 really like Rick Steiner's son.
I heard that.
So there's that. He's the first face you see in the ring, and he's the last thing you see when they go off the air.
Did he win the belt?
So, no, he didn't win the belt. No.
Okay.
Want me to tell you who won the belt?
I'm guessing Knight won the belt, but I don't know that for sure.
No, it was Ciampa. Ciampa won the belt.
Good for him.
And,
okay.
The show ends with Ciampa and Rick Steiner sounding like a face-off.
Nice. Okay.
So, which is, if you're going to have it be developmental, that's what you do. You take these guys who you want to be stars.
Yeah.
They were guys who know how to work. So, if that's the direction of it, I'm okay with it.
You know, I was thinking about it, and by the way, Justin, you're up next. Just hold on 1 second. But they have made a series of like miscues over the last like year and a half, or no, I guess not a year. First, it was NXT. Moving them to USA Network, it's great for ad dollars, but it just absolutely sucks in terms of like, because that just put more pressure on creative to come up with even more. The other thing is selling the network. Because when they had that network, that was their fail-safe and their insurance policy for these network deals. Because if things didn't work out, they could always just take their programming, go to the network. Most people who watch WWE would subscribe to the network. And they probably would make enough to like cover their costs with that. Even if it was kind of a bare bones service, I think it would have been great for them. Now as it is, it's like they're basically beholden to Peacock, which is NBC, which is the same as USA. So it's just an extension of the Raw and NXT contract at this point. To oversimplify it.
It's crazy to me. And it's crazy that they're so, even though Fox is paying the most money, it's so weird to me that they're so focused on Fox because USA, and like you said, NBC, it's the same company. You have two deals with them. You have the Peacock deal and the USA deal. You would think you'd be more worried, or at least, you know, more conscious of what they wanted as opposed to just putting all your efforts into Fox. But Vince probably figures, we're the best thing USA has going. Why would they get rid of us? But
they'll be happy with us.
You know, they prioritize Fox. Don't worry about it. It's my man. But it's just crazy to me that they, you know.
You take Sheamus. And you like it. You're right. You're right. How did the wedding come off tonight? I'm excited to watch that. Dexter Lumis is amazing, by the way.
Let me tell you something.
I love that guy.
I don't laugh very often at weddings. I enjoyed it. Everybody.
Did he cry?
It was amazing.
Did he cry?
No, he didn't cry.
I thought he might cry. Like have like a single tear.
William Regal was amazing. Gargano and Candice LeRae were amazing. It was good. I had fun. It was good.
That's cool. I'm glad that WWE doesn't care about all these losses, you know? Like, it's the fans that are worried about it, not WWE, seemingly.
Mm-hmm.
They're just willing to just keep rolling.
You saw the report where they said Fox offered to, you know, help WWE bring in CM Punk, and Vince was just like, no, he's a headache. and he got too much money.
I don't blame him. The guy was under contract and just stopped coming to work. I wouldn't re-sign him.
Yeah.
I said the same thing when Rey Mysterio forced his way out. Why would you bring him back?
And,
realistically,
I've heard AEW. We talked about how fans got mad when Roman said that Punk wasn't a needle mover and he wasn't Cena, he wasn't The Rock, which is true. But he's a god to those AEW fans, so they don't want to hear that. He's their Hulk Hogan, he's their Stone Cold, he's their Rock.
Even if he's not, they think he is.
I know, yeah. You can't, he's the best of it.
People got so mad at me when I said that Becky Lynch got as big a reaction as CM Punk. So mad. You wouldn't believe the hate mail I was getting.
Well, and Brock did too.
I know he did. Now, I know that was a bigger crowd, but still. For CM Punk to come out in AEW and do that 15-minute, and believe me, I'm not hating on the guy. I actually think that he's really good. He's tremendous on the mic. It's amazing to me that he could step in and have that match having been away that long. I think he's good. I'm not saying he's not good. But there was no amount of creativity in playing his old music, having him come out to the ring, do the same promo he's always done, and then challenge the guy that he wanted to fight. There was no creative in that. They didn't even set up a feud.
Now,
and when they set up a feud, it sucks. Why is Taz pissed?
Yeah.
That was stupid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. I was like, why is Taz mad at him?
He's like, and Punk's like, what did I say about you guys? And he's like, you said it in interviews. I heard you. Come on. Come on.
I might be a little biased because I was in the building, but that little segment they did on Friday with Roman and Brock and Paul Heyman and the Usos, was 1,000 times better than what they did with Punk in Chicago.
I agree.
It's more entertaining, but it's Punk, so you can't say those type of things. People get upset.
People want it to be so bad that it's going to be no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And speaking of wanting something to be so different, but it is what it is. Well, what's going on, Justin? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How
are you guys?
Good. So, what's going on?
Just talking about this me listening to you talk about the whole WWE thing.
Yeah.
I think within the last 2 years, WWE has been a sinking ship, and they're too far. I personally think they're too far gone, and I don't think there's any chance of saving them. So
they're still on top, right?
To me, anything they throw at me, it's like this is a waste of, this is garbage, and it's a waste of my time.
Question. They still have the highest rated wrestling show on TV. Is that a sinking ship? Because if AEW were getting 2.3 million viewers a week, people would be throwing the. Tony Khan would never stop talking about it.
They would think it's the Super Bowl if they did that.
Yeah.
You talk about a waste of time, Justin. What do you think about instead of callers, if we just went on Omegle and just started randomly interacting with people? Well, I'd probably find you on there. That'd be an easier way to get you, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Do you ever do Omegle?
Nah.
You shouldn't. It's not safe. You need to have a secure connection because they know right where you are otherwise.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it. So get that out of your head. I don't even know why you would think that.
That's not even in my head.
Okay, good.
It's funny to me, but it is.
It's really funny. I don't know why. So what is in your head? Is anything in there? Or? That came out wrong.
It is.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in my mind. So.
Okay.
A lot of things.
Shoot.
A lot of things and all that good stuff.
Any things in particular? Or just things?
I will say I was actually surprised with NXT tonight. It was for the last couple weeks they had a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to like it. But I'm just having a tough. I'm having a tough grip of getting on with Raw. But I'm digging SmackDown too.
Oh yeah, no, you need something to do. You need something to do while you watch wrestling.
Wait a minute. You just told us everything they throw at you doesn't matter, and you just named 2 to 3 things that they own that you like.
Yeah, it's mostly Raw. They suck.
Oh, so all right, it's Raw. It's not WWE. It's just Raw. Okay, well that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, Donald Trump probably still owns it.
I definitely didn't see Big E cashing on Lashley. I was surprised. I was like, oh wow.
Really? He announced it before.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
You're not on social media, really. Yeah.
No,
me neither. Me neither.
I'm on social media, but I don't pay attention to it. It's just
I never look at it either.
Yeah, I don't care.
I just saw that he did that.
I get messages from friends. I get messages from friends. Or
he might have, Derek. I never finished SmackDown this week.
I got friends that message me about different things, and I'm just like...
Well, what friends? Let's talk about your friends.
What about your friends?
You have paranormal friends, like ghosts?
Where they let you down.
No.
I mean, I'm talking, you know what I mean? To like the guys that...
What about your friends?
That's what we the guys all night.
Yeah.
They're the guys that I usually go investigate with. We talk about different things. And
what do you investigate?
Send back. Last place we investigated was Hanover Tavern and Patrick Henry's Scotchtown, which was
Scotchtown.
It was fun.
Do they have scotch there?
Scotchtown and that's just what.
Does Hanover have pretzels?
It was.
It's Snyder's of Hanover.
It's just a tavern from like the 1700s and all that good stuff.
From the That's Ray. That's Ray, not me.
Been, Brady?
I'm good.
So how you been, man?
I'm good.
Tales from the Hood.
Let's go.
You have a lot of callers on. You have a lot of callers on tonight?
No, Ray chased them all away. It's really just you and Steve.
I don't have nothing bad to say about Ray. I still think he's okay. Even though there's times he just does get under my skin a little bit. But
would you say that Ray is a friend?
That's life. No, I wouldn't say that he's a friend. I would say he's an
acquaintance.
So I come onto the I just come onto the show and I just come onto the show and just talk about it. I mean,
yeah, but what's the relationship with Ray though?
Talk BS. Like I said, just an acquaintance.
Yeah, that's good. Where do you have him?
You and Derek, you guys are cool. You guys are cool. I don't have a problem.
What about Stro?
I mean,
you good with Stro again?
Hey.
You good with Stro?
Oh yeah,
that's whatever.
I'm digging that. Digging that, Derek. Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, we all fall into like a.
What do we fall into? You know, I fell the other day and I dented the wall. I'm not even kidding. I fell the other day and I dented the wall. So when I was younger, I'm really lucky I didn't put my head through it. when I was younger,
Are you released?
when I was younger, I was at the promenade in Cape May, and I jumped off the boardwalk, and I landed on like the side of my foot, and I've had bad ankles ever since.
Oh man.
That between that and like a skateboarding injury. So I'm just walking down the hall, and I step on the side of my foot, and I already have a bad elbow, Justin, because of arthritis. Yeah, I've got freaking arthritis now for some reason. So like, I step on the side of my foot, and I propel myself, and the stairs are directly in front of me, so I lean to the right to avoid falling down the stairs, and I just hit the wall, kind of like hip first, and I don't want to hit my elbow because my elbow is already hurting. I put like, it looks like if the wall were made of like silly putty, I put my ass into it, basically. It's got like an indent where my ass is.
Put your back into it.
Oh, come on. That's
Put your baby back into it.
It was horrible.
Way too much information, buddy. I mean, it's like the whole silly putty thing. The whole silly putty thing.
No.
I mean, that was a little too much. You put your ass into it. That's just, a little too much.
I couldn't imagine sacrificing my eyes to save my elbow. That's crazy.
You couldn't imagine what?
I said I couldn't imagine sacrificing my ass to save my elbow. That is nuts.
Well, no, it was more my hip. Like it was like a hip check. But like the way the indent in the wall is, it looks like an ass. It looks like an upside down heart. You know what it looks like, and I don't even know if it's like a PC word. So like I hope it's not an offensive thing. I probably should Google it before I say it.
Everybody buckle in. Go ahead, Brady.
It looks like a badonkadunk on the wall.
Why would that be okay?
What?
You have to Google badonkadunk?
I wanted to make sure it was safe. I didn't know if it was an offensive word.
Oh, I guess if you have a small ass, it is, but
yeah, okay.
If you have a badonkadunk, I'd imagine it feels good.
Well, I remember when I learned the word and I walked around pointing at people yelling badonkadunk, they didn't like it.
College and cornbread can cure that.
Justin, I'm going to let you go because I think you're going through a tunnel. Sorry, you were saying?
That'll do it.
That's funny.
You telling that story with "What About Your Friends" by TLC in the background is the greatest thing I think you've ever done.
Yes.
That was amazing.
I had another great story today. So I was watching The Dark Side of the Ring. They did like a preview for the second half of the season with Chris Jericho, and he's sitting down with the producers, and they're just showing different clips from the different episodes. And they have Terry Funk, and he's talking about FMW from Japan. And he says, and I can't do the Terry Funk voice because I know I can't do it justice, but he says something like, well, these fans, and they didn't pay 50 cents for their seats. He's like, they're sitting in the front row for an exploding ring match. And then he's like, bullshit. It was the funniest thing. It was just the way he said it. Kelly's not even a wrestling fan, and we just both bust out laughing for like 10 minutes over it. He's like, bullshit. It really is funny.
I can listen to Terry Funk talk about. I can listen to him talk about anything.
Fast fresh.
One of my favorite Terry Funk quotes is when he had like the hardcore match in WCW in the dying days, and he had a horse, and the horse kicked him, and he goes, "You goddamn horse!" and he swings at the horse.
That's right. That's right. He also had that match in the grocery store where they're swinging like loaves of bread at each other.
Right.
God, I forgot all about that.
Hitting them with it.
What?
Yeah.
He was
had,
great.
Like, 2 chickens on each hand and was hitting the person with it.
I think he did, yeah.
He's the best.
I think he did. Yeah. Oh, let's get him out of the way then. I think this will be it for the callers. What's going on, Rat Boy?
It's a good day. It's a new day. And it's a new day champion Big G. Woo, I was right on that.
Rat Boy, who's going to be the first person to fight Big G, as you said?
Big G.
The first person going to fight Big E. Let me see. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre.
Oh, okay.
How funny would it be if Big E showed up on Dynamite? How funny would it be if Big E showed up on Dynamite tomorrow night and dumped the belt in the trash?
Ah!
I want to fight the real world champion. Kenny Omega, come down here.
I could see that.
You think Big E's going to take that belt and take the SmackDown, and SmackDown got 2 championship belts?
No.
No, he's a wrong guy.
No, he's with NXT. He's with NXT. He's with New Day now. What do you think of Big E fighting Kofi though? Put Xavier Woods out there like
going to have to show soon.
Put Xavier Woods out there like Miss Elizabeth.
How dare
Put it this way.
He'd be great.
It might be a triple threat match at WrestleMania with the
Probably
New
not.
Day versus New Day versus New Day
Probably not.
at WrestleMania.
All I know
I don't
is-
expect he'll have the belt by WrestleMania. Do you?
I
all
think
know is
so.
They're doing a King of the Ring in a couple of months, and poor Xavier Woods is like begging. He's basically begging them to make him King of the Ring. So.
Right, and he was like the one who wanted them to do it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the one that was begging them to bring it back, and now it's back.
It's a shame because like Happy Corbin probably has a better chance of being champion come WrestleMania.
Oh, don't put that into the earth. Don't put that into the ether, Brady. Don't say that.
Brady, boo! Boo! Boo this man! Boo! Boo!
What do you got, Rat Boy?
Milk.
Okay, what I have is,
Brad?
start off Friday night, okay? Start off Friday night,
Did you call him Straw?
okay?
Yes.
I think WWE is going to be in Philadelphia Friday night.
Yes, this next Friday.
SmackDown.
Yes, draw.
Next Friday.
Yes, draw.
Yep.
Oh, next Friday.
Yeah. 24th.
But Saturday is, this Saturday is
Icons. We talked about it earlier.
At the old ECW arena. I might be there. See some of my old friends, enemies, not enemies, not so many things I got. I don't care, but I will be there.
That
Yay.
sentence had like 8
biggest thing
dependent
is that-
clauses.
But the biggest thing that is, it's the 54th anniversary show for the ECWA.
Yep.
Right here up here in Freehold.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say one thing, okay? If Mr. Uala wins against Sean Carr,
Yeah.
I'm the next person in line. I'm the next person in line.
For Sean Carr or for Mr.
Me
Ulala?
versus
Yes, draw will be there too.
Mr.
Draw.
Uala. If Mr. Uala wins, I'm going after Mr. Uala because he's too old to be in the ring.
Well, you're older than him.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, but there's one thing though.
Uh-oh.
But there's
You're
one
not a
thing,
wrestler.
though. I won't be wrestling. I'll be naming my wrestlers that's going to be taking my part.
Oh, okay.
you making your own angle on the show?
Booker Man.
I'm
Booker
going to
Man,
find
Rat Boy.
I'm going to find a wrestler. I'm going to find a.
Rat Boy versus the
I'm going
pencil.
in that dressing room to find a wrestler, and that guy's going to wrestle for me.
Here's what I want.
Okay.
I actually, because I think they need to bring Brady back as commentator. And
I'll be there.
yeah. And then Rat Boy,
90 seconds.
I think Rat Boy begins feuding with Brady, and then we get a Rat Boy versus Brady match. Like a weasel. Rat Boy versus Brady in a weasel suit match. Yes.
Aha.
And you can,
I
like,
want to
Brady,
do an
you can
Iron
go-
Man with Rat Boy.
an Iron Man weasel suit match where you guys see how many times you can stuff each other into various costumes.
That sounds horrible.
Sassy
I gotta tell you,
What else
I
you got,
would
Rat
pay to
You
watch.
know we could do something for the 50.
Rat Boy, you go to Icons on Saturday. You
Yeah.
see Buddy Murphy. What do you say to him?
Hi, mate. How you doing, mate?
Hey,
All right. Okay.
Hey, mate. Hey, mate. I'm going to say, hey, mate, what happened to your girlfriend, Alexa Bliss? Huh? Did she break your balls and you left her?
You know, ended on happy terms. Why'd you bring that up?
Yeah, they're friends. They're friends.
Well, you know, I don't know who broke up with who, but, you know, he might just tell the truth that I broke up
Rat
with her.
Boy, if I pay for your airfare, will you fight Granny Hulkster for the Rat
10
Trap title?
seconds.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Well, we all got to get together somehow, a convention or something, you know, so we all could hang out and talk about all this stuff.
Rat
All
Boy,
right.
would you fight
Crazy
Virgil
stuff,
in a
you know
meat
what I'm
sauce
saying?
match?
Yes. Hell, I'd do
Yeah.
that.
You hate money.
I would too.
Maybe in a hamburger match.
You would
Maybe
fight him
in
in
a
a hamburger
hamburger
match.
match.
Yeah, that would be you.
Are a hamburger match.
You're a hamburger helper, is what you are.
That joke
Just a little hand.
love.
Hey,
Like my young hand.
But
So what's on the menu?
I just can't wait to see. I just
What's
can't wait to see Sonny there this weekend.
Yeah.
let me
That's
Go
your friend.
see her. You don't know how many. I shouldn't say it.
Brady, don't do it.
I'm not.
Don't do it.
I'm not. I love Tammy. I do. I'm not. I'm not talking bad about her. I just think you should go see her while
No.
she's around.
Oh, I am.
I just mean no, because she doesn't do every
Can
convention.
I get locked up?
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Can I
She's
get
getting a
locked
real
up
estate
again?
license. She's not going to be doing this forever.
You know,
That's what I mean.
You know, I'm sitting here looking at what I wrote down earlier. Do you think maybe instead of screwing up Stroh's name and calling him the Straw, do you think maybe instead Rat Boy was? Do you think maybe instead Rat Boy was referring to Daryl Strawberry?
Mm.
I doubt it.
Oh,
I doubt it.
Wow. That's your friend.
Rat Boy, what's for dinner tonight? What'd you have for dinner?
Milk.
it is crazy.
What can I have for dinner? Oh,
Wait, can I guess? Let me guess.
Jeez.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think you had lean cuisine meatloaf with lean cuisine meatloaf with butternut squash and green beans.
What? Nope.
Okay, wait.
I have a
think we
second
should.
guess.
I think we all take a guess. I think we all go.
We're all taking guesses, and
Yeah,
I
we're
have
all
a second
taking guesses.
one. Go ahead, Rick.
Okay, so you have a second one. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Did you eat? Was it a box of cereal?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Rat Boy, here I think that you bought.
He didn't have dinner.
I think Rat Boy, I think you went to 7-Eleven and you got like the little box of 6 corn dogs, and you just microwaved all 6 of them at once so that they weren't quite done, but they were still nuclear hot and soggy on the outside.
What about your friend's wedding? What do you think, Derek? What do you think? What do you think Rat Boy had for dinner?
Rat Boy, did you go to 7-Eleven and did you eat that nasty chicken on a stick that they serve?
Ah, that's the worst.
Get out of here.
Even he won't eat that. Stro, you have any guesses?
A burrito and a Coke.
That sounds like him.
Oh.
Well,
Hot dog and $1. Hot dog and a
to
handshake.
hang on. I went to bingo. I ate out tonight.
Oh, did you have one of those
had
shell pizzas, like the slice where it's like?
No, hang on.
Go ahead.
I had a nice big Burger King Whopper
Ooh.
with
Wow.
onion rings and a coffee.
And a coffee. Okay.
And a coffee.
Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, literally every single.
A coffee drink.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you,
Kudos
every
to you for the. Go ahead.
Oh, so every
Sorry.
single one of our guesses more appetizing than the actual answer.
I was gonna say, good for you for picking the calorie-free drink.
Yeah.
The coffee, yeah. No carbs, just caffeine.
Was it black? Did you drink it black? I like my
and
coffee
my mom-
black.
Wait a minute, and my
Me too.
mom bought it. My mom bought it.
I'll bet she did. How'd you drink your coffee?
Yeah, because
Black? You put cream and sugar in that? Some bitch?
yes.
You put cream and sugar in
All right, you guys are talking coffee. Here, let me get the opinion. Let me get the
I still
opinion
don't know
of
what
the
he
panel.
does. Yeah.
Let me get the opinion of the
Okay.
panel because I've been informed that I am weird for doing this.
Coffee talk.
Mhm.
I will go through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, and I will
Yeah, that's
order
weird.
the line
Sorry.
right there. That's strange. But I will. Okay, here's what I get told is weird. I will order a large ice.
I'm drinking now.
Quiet.
Hold on, Rat Boy. Hold on, Rat
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah.
the
I
opinion
got
of
a
the panel
dog,
here.
and when it
Red Boy.
misbehaves, I have to clap once to get it to stop.
Clap
So-
on, clap off.
The clapper. I'll go through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, and then here's the part where I'm told I'm weird. I will order a large iced coffee, black, no cream, no sugar, no flavors, just black coffee, but immediately made cold by the presence of ice.
Is that good?
It's delicious.
Wow. Okay. I thought you were going to say you got an iced coffee and then had them heat it. So it's essentially just watered down coffee.
Get the ice.
Yeah.
Keep the ice with it.
I do that once in a while.
I've been drinking.
Actually, buy a iced coffee. I buy iced coffee Starbucks and
Yeah.
come home, put it in another cup, and put it in the microwave and heat it up. And drink.
Now that I no longer have a commute and I spend every day of my life at this godforsaken desk, I make my own coffee in the morning. But I've been buying this. It's called Donut Shop coffee,
Ooh,
and it's amazing. It's like sweet, but I
know
drink
it-
it black because you don't really need to add anything to it. You know, it's sweet, but it doesn't have any sugar or anything.
Mhm.
So I love it. It's amazing.
Oh wow! You know who's going to be there at the arena?
We went through it all. So who are you
I got-
surprised at?
I'm surprised. Tito Santana.
Arriba.
Ah,
Arriba! I'm going to buy some tacos. I'm going to buy some tacos and go in and me and him go
You
have a
know
taco
they almost
party.
built around him instead of Bret Hart. He'll tell you.
yeah.
I heard him say that multiple times.
Yeah.
I heard him say that. That's it.
It's true. Well, he says it's true anyway.
Matt Hardy's going to be there too.
Yep.
Matt Hardy's going to be there too.
Yeah, but he's big money.
Matt Hardy.
He's not the fun one. He's big money. He's going to try and rip you off.
No, he's not.
He's going to get. Don't sign anything with him,
No,
Rat
me
Boy.
and him are boys.
Don't you sign anything with him.
Yeah, I might have to. If the money's right, I'm going with big money.
Gonna say what's
AEW
50% of nothing?
as a mascot.
Yeah.
I dress up like a dollar bill and walk out with him
Okay.
and throw money all over the place.
See, Ray, at least he tries to be entertaining. Rat Boy.
I like, you
You
know,
gotta admit.
in my heart of hearts, I actually like Rat Boy. Like sometimes I screw with him, but I actually do like Rat Boy.
Is he your favorite of the children?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to say yes, but only because I can't envision the show without him calling at this point.
That's true.
I like Rat Boy.
I do. I do.
I can't choose a favorite child though.
I miss John from Rhode Island, and I continue to want him
too.
back.
I do too, but he doesn't like how you interrupt him.
Okay,
he doesn't like you.
I like to do things make people laugh.
Sorry, Ray.
I don't make them cry. I like to make them laugh and let them think about it.
I miss John from Rhode Island. But John used to get mad when he didn't get to talk enough, and then when you asked him to talk, he didn't talk.
That was a problem.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
And then he would go on other shows and trash us because we didn't let him talk enough.
But what I do, here's what I missed. I miss finding out about all of the hysterical moments that we would have
I think
at
he's
Wrestling
on to
Force.
us with that. Yeah.
Hey,
Hysterical
Brady, I got
moments.
an idea.
Bound.
Brady, I got
What's
an
your
idea.
What's your idea?
Idea.
My idea that you come pick me up on Saturday.
Oh, there we go.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
We go to ECWA,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Have me somewhere sitting and just give me the mic. Let me sing Happy Anniversary to Joey the Zoe. And after Joey the Zoe said, oh, I got to put up with this stuff, and he threw the cake in my face.
If you can say his name right, I'll do it.
What's the happy anniversary?
Joey the Zoe?
All right. I'm not doing it.
Roly Poly Roly?
But
Ravioli?
if you don't want to do it, just tell
Garfield and
Joe,
Odie.
Joey the Zoe.
Roly Poly Roly.
Chloe, Zoe, I don't know, the new boss. Just tell him a happy anniversary.
I'm
I
still a
will.
Heathcliff guy.
I will, brother. Actually, I'm not allowed to bring a guest because COVID is being fully enforced again. So I'm not allowed to bring a guest.
I know, and you got to wear a mask in the building.
Well, I'm going to bring an air tank instead of a mask, so I'm just breathing my own air.
There you go.
Like a pap machine or whatever. A pap smear? No. What is it called? It's like the air thing. Like, what is the machine that you wear?
Not called a pap.
CPAP. CPAP. Not a pap
CPAC,
smear.
that's a
That's a
political
different thing.
convention.
That's a different thing.
I got one more thing to say. It's not
Okay,
wrestling related.
Once you're done, I'm letting you go.
My wife heard me say pap
All right.
smear. She just yelled out, "What?"
What are you talking about?
I'm going to say, what a game that I seen on Sunday. Let's go Eagles. Let's keep it up. You only won one game so far. Let's try to
That's
win.
all it is, brother.
Let's win more. Let's win 13 more. That's all we
Okay,
need.
but let's not be obnoxious about it. Let's just be happy because I learned my lesson.
Do you like Jalen Smith, right, boy? I mean, Jalen Smith. Jalen Hurts, do you like him? Because it seemed like they wanted to run the poor guy out of town last year.
Jalen Rose.
Now he won a game.
The way I seen him play, I like Hurst. He's a pretty cool guy.
He seems to be good.
I think we're going to get 13 wins this year.
You know they play
All right,
14 games, right, boy? So they're going to be what? 14
Yeah, I know that.
3? Okay.
I know that.
It's a tough schedule, Rat Boy.
I know. That's why I'm saying 13.
You know they're only favored in one game.
My prediction's right.
You do realize they're only favored in one game, right?
Is it against my terrible Giants?
It's going to be 13.
No, it's the Jets.
We're going to win the division with 13 games, and we're going to win the Super Bowl again.
I'm sure the odds will change though.
Again.
Yeah. Someday. Nice to talk to you, Rat Boy.
Yeah, okay.
I love you, brother. Keep drinking.
I gotta go because I just got home, from the bingo.
You just arrived from Fantasyland.
Dunkin' Donut coffee there.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
He didn't even step back.
Take care.
Nothing blue.
Bye, brother. Love you.
Bye, right there.
So, Derek, when your wife was nearby, she wasn't cooking a steak, was she?
No, she wasn't. I wish she
Okay,
was.
good. Good.
She was just walking by the room and she heard me say it. She was like, what?
When you told her to make you a steak. That was like the funniest thing ever. Probably not for you, but...
She didn't take too kindly to it. No, it wasn't at all. I'm making her a steak now that I think about it.
All right. We could try and do some quick hits if you guys want. Maybe think about getting out of here.
All right.
Actually, this week's quick hits come to us via caller Steven, who sends me 15 links every 5 minutes on our chat.
What?
All right. Kenny Omega won G1 Climax? Wow, good for him. That guy cannot catch a break. It's nice to see him get something. I love Ken. I do, actually. Kenny's a good friend, all kidding aside. What?
He's the biggest star in the industry. This Actor down in Cal, I'll tell you.
I mean, he is. He is.
Yeah.
Certainly the biggest name outside of WWE. Yeah, I mean, I knew him when he was just a kid from Winnipeg. I remember when he first came to like the East Coast for Ring of Honor. I had like just interviewed him for the magazine. I mean, good guy. All he wanted to do was bring video games to life.
Do you remember when JR said Kenny will never truly be a superstar until he goes to WWE? You think JR still thinks that?
Probably.
Yeah, no.
The question is, yeah. But the thing is, like, I think that's true. But by the same token, I don't know how they would treat him when he got there. Would he get the AJ Styles or would he get the Jamie Noble? That's where it's hard to know.
Yeah.
I mean, would he get Harley? Would he become King Harley Race? You know.
And I think the thing with AJ, because I'm like you, I still think AJ is the best wrestler in the world, even though he doesn't have 5-star matches every week. But I think AJ came in, I think Vince wanted to book him a certain way, and then he saw him work one time and was like, wow. And I think that's all it took was one time, and he fell in love with it.
And the other thing was, like, AJ, like, for AJ, like, TNA was an ends to a mean. Like, he didn't want to stay with TNA. His goal was to get to WWE. When we interviewed him in 2009 or 10 or whatever, and you asked him, like, you know, who he wanted to wrestle, there was nobody from TNA. It was, like, a couple of the Japanese guys and Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. Like that, and Shawn Michaels. That was who we wanted to wrestle.
Now, when it's all said and done, do you think he's going to be looked at more as a WWE guy or a TNA guy?
That's actually a good question.
Probably the WWE guy, just because TNA doesn't have much of a legacy anymore. Very few fans, I think, kind of look back on that time period now.
It is.
And just imagine saying that 10 years ago. That'd be crazy.
I know. It's crazy.
Well,
like at this point, would you say that Christian is a bigger like TNA guy than like AJ Styles? Like I would think about it.
I can see the argument, but no.
Okay.
It's pretty much AJ. It's pretty much AJ, Kurt, and Samoa Joe, right? Like those are the three guys you think of.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It does almost feel like if you went into if you walked into an Impact taping, I feel like it would be like you were an archaeologist having just discovered a previously lost city. And you're like going in and you see all these like vine covered images of days of long ago.
Yeah.
There's like a cracked statue of Hulk Hogan off in the corner.
Do any of you guys know? This is kind of unrelated, but like, do any of you guys know when AEW records dark? Because they're going to start doing it in the Impact Zone.
Oh. They are?
Yeah, it's going to be their full-time home for AEW Dark. And I'm only asking because I'm going to be in Orlando next week.
I think they started already.
Okay.
Because I saw what's the guy Brady you had him on the show, Anthony Green.
Yeah.
He was at the most recent.
I did see that. Yeah.
So they already started. Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
I'm just wondering what night it is.
WCW shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the same building. Yeah, certainly the same area.
Yeah.
So we had Steve on earlier, and he was complaining, and I found out a lot of AEW fans are complaining because Suzuki's full song didn't play when he appeared for AEW.
What?
He's like, that's not fair.
What?
I said, you were lucky to get Suzuki in AEW. Like, just be happy.
Exactly.
My God. That'd be like...
Probably the biggest...
Yeah. No, I said, like, that would be like Shawn Michaels showing up in WCW and you being mad because they didn't play Sexy Boy.
He didn't do the pose at the end.
Right. Yeah. I thought that was silly.
Listen, AEW fans, listen. Suzuki, he's probably the biggest star from New Japan they've had on that show. Because they all thought they were going to get Omega. I mean, they were going to get Okada and all these guys. So just be happy Suzuki was on the show.
That's what I think. It was a bonus. You think WWE fans are going to complain? Well, they wouldn't know who he is in WWE, but...
Who's the old guy?
Yeah. Speaking of not knowing who he is, Dave Meltzer. I love this one. So the TWI 500 came out, by the way. Congratulations to Kenny Omega. Again, this guy, he just happy to see him get a break. But Dave Meltzer said that it is beyond ludicrous that Nick Gage was ranked higher than Hiroshi Tanahashi. I thought that was hilarious.
Well, don't we...
Nick Gage higher than Tanahashi.
Don't we... Now, hang on. Now, I don't want to speak for everyone here, but don't we basically view that list as brain damaged at this point?
I suppose. Wait, who? Nick Gage or Dave Meltzer?
Actually, every single party involved.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm with Meltzer on. I'm with Meltzer on this. There is no, unless it's the list of people who should be institutionalized. There's no other list that Nick Gage should be on.
Bank robbers.
Oh yeah, a list of not particularly good bank robbers.
Yeah.
He felt at that too. Yeah.
Be great for America's Funniest Home Videos, though.
It would.
So anyway, so we were talking about this earlier. I don't want Nick Gage coming after me, so I got to be careful. I'm just playing, of course. Good friend, good guy. Never met him in my life. So Jericho this week, or I guess it was Lance Storm talking about Jericho. We talked about this earlier, Derek, but apparently Daffney, Jericho and Lance Storm really tried to get her in WWE in the early 2000s. And I think it would have been amazing with all the women that were around back then.
Yeah.
And she was young enough, she could have even been a bridge to like the 2008 when like the Bellas and Maurice took over, I think she could have been really good at what she... But, so WWE didn't want her. Did you hear about this?
No, why not?
Because they didn't like that screaming thing.
The screaming that she did?
Yeah, they didn't like that she screamed. So Jericho's answer was, well, tell her not to scream. Like, she can do other things besides scream. Yeah.
I was just about to say that. She didn't have to scream.
Right.
Oh, my God.
It's not like she's one-dimensional and can only scream. Not Bill Goldberg here. I'm just playing, Bill.
And by the way,
I'm just playing, Bill. I love you. That's a good friend. Sorry.
We're talking about the late great Daffney. Did you see TNA? They're gonna have like a memorial Monster Bowl match in her honor.
No, that's cool.
That was funny because TNA is the same company that didn't want to pay for her injuries when she got hurt on their down.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Pretty bad concussion, apparently.
Yeah.
And she donated her brain, I guess, too, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
Yeah.
She would have been in, especially in that 2000s, and she was already like a character too. She would have fit in perfect.
Yeah. Imagine her with Trish, Lita, Mickey, Victoria, Gail Kim, Jazz.
Oh.
And then then you keep her around, and like I said, she's young enough. She could have been there for Michelle McCool and Beth Phoenix and Natalia.
Yeah. Could have been that bridge. That sucks.
And you wonder if her life wouldn't have turned out differently if they did. Not that it's WWE's fault that she died, but, maybe things would have been different.
I mean, look, I know people knock WWE, but working that style can help your body. I mean, look, Samoa Joe, right? They released Samoa Joe. Everybody wanted him to go to Japan. They wanted him to go to AEW. He wrestled one match back in WWE, and the man's hurt again.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes just being there is better for your body. That's what AJ said. AJ said, I came here because I was beat up. Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't want to leave because he's beat up in Japan. So.
It's true. It's true. This is funny. So this is just Steve, and again, we bicker all the time because he thinks I hate on AEW. This was something he said during the show last week when we were on the air. I didn't even notice it. He just comments to me, Adam Cole was in a gang in NXT. I'm getting to him.
He was the leader of the gang.
He was the leader of the gang, and there was only 2 gangs in NXT. Not 15.
We don't talk about this enough. Brady is like Derek and Stro and I are all good at needling people in the moment. Brady's ability to troll over an
eternal
extended period of time.
But I'm not trolling.
It's an art. It really is.
No. I'm just saying.
I tip my hat to you, sir. I don't have the patience to do that. But this is some serious long form.
No, I just think it's funny that I've got space in his head. I know I'm the one reading his messages, but
I remember he was on the show one time. And he was talking about Sammy Guevara, right? And he was like, I think he's going to be a star. I love Sammy. And you was like, I like the WWE version too. And he was like, who's that? And you was like, it's what's his name? Oh, the guy that was having
Hector Guerrero, Angel Garza. Yeah.
Angel Garza. He was like, I like the WWE.
Yeah. I miss him.
He just sat there for a moment out. And I was like, that damn Brady, your trolling is like a one long paper cut in between my papers.
It's salt bath. It's like a salt bath.
It's just like, oh, he's getting to me.
Do you think, and this is unrelated, but since we're talking about AEW and we're doing quick hits, so Kevin Owens this week keeps alluding to joining AEW. And I even kind of referenced it earlier that it sounds like that's what he's going to do. It almost seems too good to be true. If I'm at a job, Derek, and I'm relatively on good terms with my employers, and I've never heard anything about people not liking Kevin Owens in WWE. Yeah. Do you think this is something they're doing to be funny, to troll the fans?
I could see that because everything you hear about Kevin Owens, it's how much Vince loves him and Sammy.
Right, exactly.
And look, if I'm the Bucks or if I'm Omega and Kenny and Owens called me and goes, hey, look, Vince is afraid to lose guys to you people. I don't want to leave, but I want to get as much money as I can possibly get because Kevin Owens is getting to the end.
Yeah.
And have too many more big money contracts left. Help me get more money out of the old man. I'd be like, sure, why not?
Almost there, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's stuff they do to have fun with. But like I said, how much is enough? And I wish Steve was on live with an option. Like, they're going to have to start cut. I saw Tony Khan was like, there's no such thing as having too many wrestlers. Well, we only have 3 shows, and 2 of them are fake shows, an hour long. Yes, there is so much you can have too many guys on your roster.
Right.
So, I mean, you're bringing in Bray Wyatt, right? I think that's the thing. Bray Wyatt's going to be there, and then you're going to bring in Owens too. And then who else you're going to bring in? Like,
we were talking about it earlier. AEW really is almost in the spot where they should consider their own brand split. They do, and it's starting to be where there were people that were regular contributors that aren't even getting on TV anymore.
Yeah, like Joey Janela. Is Scorpio Sky still breathing? Like, where's Scorpio?
Yeah, Joey Janela, Scorpio Sky.
Big thing.
They're using a little bit of Impact with some of the lower card guys. Sonny Kiss. Where the freak has Adam Page been?
There's so many people who look. I think Meltzer said they have contracts coming up in the next year or so. They're going to lose a lot of people.
I think so.
People who were there from the beginning just wanting to collect paychecks.
Right. And I think WWE, and that's kind of what happened with WCW. That was part of what allowed WWE to get that edge over time. Is that like WCW took a lot of WWE's older guys, but WWE took a lot of the younger guys from WCW. They weren't worried about getting his older guys back right away. It was Jericho and Benoit and Guerrero and Malenko and Saturn and I mean, there were just so many, Regal and yeah, they focused on the younger guys. They didn't worry about the legends.
I don't know if we talked about this, but or maybe you guys talked about it last week and I wasn't on. Did you see where Punk compared Adam Cole and himself and Danielson coming into the NWO, coming into WCW?
I did, and we talked about it briefly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not saying it's not impactful. I think it's big. But that was like landscape changing. Like I said it earlier. I don't know if you were on. Like I don't know if you were on the show, Derek, with me. But when I said it earlier. But when Punk came in, there was nothing special with that introduction creatively. They played his music. He came out. He did the same speech that he's always done, and he challenged the wrestler that he wanted to have the match with. That was it. It was so formulaic. It was almost sickening to me that like, and I understand like sometimes simple is best, but don't give AEW creative credit for CM Punk coming in and doing what he always did.
Yeah.
What they did with Adam Cole, there was no creative there. They brought him out, and he went with his friends like in the biggest swerve that everybody saw coming.
I know you're not allowed to be critical of it, and if you're critical of AEW, people think, "Oh, you must only love WWE." No, WWE is just as bad. But let's not make it seem like everything AEW is doing is, like you said, is game changing.
Yeah. Right. It is what it is.
I said it before. Vince. Yeah, I said it before. Vince went on the call with the stockholders, and he goes, "I don't consider AEW competition. Matter of fact, maybe we'll give them more wrestling in the future." And the next day, they released Bray Wyatt. So
right.
Let you know what he thinks about them.
Right. Yeah. By the way, what was I just reading about the terrible direction in WWE? Oh, it was involving Benoit. It was like one of their staffers, like I guess that used to work in the office, did some interview, and she was talking about how like it was the digital team. I guess they were like cataloging stuff for the network. Probably what Tommy Fierro used to do, honestly. But she was saying how like she came in and they'd be like, yeah, like, you know, make sure you tag all the Chris Benoit matches so that they're labeled, so that they can, you know, so that WWE or whoever can find them if they need to really easily. And then the next week it was like, you know, his matches can be on there, but don't catalog him. Don't use his name. You shouldn't be able to search for him. Or the next week they're like, you know what, forget it. We don't have to tag him. And it was like they couldn't decide from week to week what they wanted to do. They just couldn't decide. And I remember like that period too, like around when that happened, where like randomly they'd be like, oh yeah, like the search function isn't working really good. Like they took Chris Benoit off the network, but you can still look at Nitro and see him. And then the next week they'd be like, yeah, you can search. Yeah, it was crazy. But I just thought that was funny.
I remember
like,
when they had, before they had the network, they had, what was it, WWE 24/7?
Yeah.
And I remember
with the Legends table,
they would show.
Those were great.
Yeah, they would show the same Raw and the same Nitro from the same night. And I remember one week they'd have Benoit matches, and then the next week that's gone, and they would take them out of the whole show. And
yeah.
And it was like, well, what happened? You know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's weird how they're set up there.
It is. It is. And I still to this day don't know if he's on there or not, but it's Peacock, so you can't find anything anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah.
It took me 10 minutes to find NXT UK the other day because NXT UK didn't work in the search.
That seems like something you should be able to search.
I try to watch.
Seemed to me.
I try to watch the 205 Live because they have Joe Gacy on there.
Yeah.
Like him.
Oh, really?
I don't think they've updated 205 Live in like 3 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Remember when that was such a big deal when that came out and like they were on Raw and stuff?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
They don't even have 205. They don't even have 205 guys on there. It's big guys now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like superstars. Even though it's called 205 Live.
Yep.
Oh, well. Well, I think we should look about getting out of here, if that's okay. Derek, did you have anything you wanted to plug on the way out?
I do, for the first time in forever.
Nice.
Tomorrow night, I will be on Hell in a Cell Talk Radio.
They never invite me anymore.
They don't?
No.
I got invited. I can't it.
Okay.
And, should be fun. Also, I will be setting up my man cave is almost done, so I will be joining people on Zoom.
Nice. Okay.
Hey!
Cool. Because I remember when you did the video interview with them, I was like, wow. So like, it was weird to like see you and actually like to see you talking, you know, as opposed to just like a Facebook picture or something. So that's pretty cool. That's exciting.
That one I was at my kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays, my wife does her homework for school. So
yeah.
That's why when she heard me say Pap Smear, she's at that table.
That's funny. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, so Hell in a Cell, for those who don't know, they are not part of the VOC Nation anymore, unfortunately. When we reached that deal with Megaphone, we needed exclusive shows only, so, and they kind of had their own feed going for a while, so we weren't able to include them when we made the jump over to Megaphone. But great guys, and I'll definitely be sure to check that out. So very cool, very cool. Ray, you got anything?
No, not really. I mean, could definitely go check out Derek's Hell in a Cell interview, and I mean, I guess the only thing I say, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. That's a tough one. I don't typically care about celebrity deaths because I don't know them and they don't know me. So why should I get upset? But that one hurts. That one hurts. And then obviously, make sure that you get involved with all of the things that the Stro is about to plug.
Yes. All right, Stro, what do you got, man?
Thursday night, WCW Retro, talking favorite wrestling promos, part 2. And so please call in if you got a favorite promo through the years that you like to share. And Friday night, Stro Zone, midnight Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook, facebook.com/Stro the Maestro. The feature will be It's Alive from back in the day. And then this Saturday, I'll be doing commentary for Shockwave Wrestling at the Craven County JC's Fairgrounds in New Bern, North Carolina. And for more information, go to shockwavewrestling.com.
All right, Saturday night, ECWA 54th anniversary show, live from Morganville, New Jersey, the Jersey Dugout, and Genesee Drive in Morganville, New Jersey. Tickets and information, ECWAWrestling.com. And if you can't be there live, be sure to check it out on IWTV. I'll be there calling the action for IWTV and for the fans in attendance as well. So be sure to check out ECWA 54th anniversary show, headlined by Sean Carr making his return to challenge Monsieur Ulala for the ECWA heavyweight title, and lots more. Additional matches available via the Facebook page for ECWA Pro Wrestling. That's going to do it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to all the callers. Thank you to the best crew I could ever ask for. Kathy, Stro, Derek, Ray, Matt. All you guys are just incredible. Thank you to Jim Molyneux for the last couple weeks kind of stepping in and being part of the show as well. And you're welcome anytime, brother. Everybody check out all the great stuff on VOCNation.com, including WCW Retro on Thursday, Rock and Roll Union each and every Monday, and lots more as well. Just go to VOCNation.com or check it out on your favorite podcast provider. Everybody, have a great week. Be good to each other. I love you all very much. Take care.